Here we are for another incredible episode. You guys are going to be in for one ride today. We have Carmel Bell. She's a medical intuitive. She's one of the top 10 in the world out of Australia. And I'm so pleased to introduce you to her today. So make sure you and your friends and your family know about this. Jump on this ride and make sure that you put your comments below because she can answer them today. So here we go for the wellness driven ride. I'm so pleased to introduce someone to you guys today. Her name is Carmel Bell. I'm going to show you her book. It is, let me get that right on the camera. Not doing a very good job. It's called When All Else Fails. And I'm going to go ahead and share her bio with you today directly from the back of her book. So here at last, the fascinating story of Carmel Bell, the most recognized medical intuitive in Australia. While Carmel's work is amazing, equally so is her personal journey, having survived a mind-boggling 4 near-death experiences. In the most recent of these, she was away for almost an hour, resulting in significant brain damage. Doctors declared she would never again be able to live an independent life. Carmel was determined to prove them wrong. Using energies received on the other side, she made a full recovery. Now Carmel shares not only her compelling life and death story, she also provides helpful advice on how you too can begin a journey towards self-healing. Carmel Bell is recognized as one of the top 10 medical intuitives in the world. Over 10,000 clients have passed through her clinic, while her college attracts many who wish to learn her techniques. She is vice president of the International Association of Medical Intuitives and founder and president of the Australian branch. Carmel lives and practices in Melbourne, Australia. Please welcome Carmel Bell. Hi, Carmel.
Here I am. Oh, look, I can see myself.
There you are. And you're lovely. You're absolutely lovely. Thank you so much for joining. Gosh, we could go into so many different things, but I'd love for you to just explain to the audience quickly what exactly is the definition of a medical intuitive?
Okay. This is my definition of medical intuition. A medical intuitive will look at your physical body. So they will intuitively, insightfully examine all your internal organs, your bones and teeth, and at the same time, they will look at the spiritual connection. So, if you have a disorder, say in your gallbladder, is it coming from disappointment or letdown or anger? And from where in your life was that letdown and anger? Because if you don't resolve the founding issue, it will keep repeating through your life. So, you'll find women, for instance, who, no matter how careful they are, will always find themselves in a relationship with a man who is in a partnership already, for instance. It's like, why can't I meet a single man? Well, there are millions of single men out there. It's just that their vibration and their desire is to meet a man who isn't single. And if you look at it, you may find that there is a historical pattern in their family, like their father was a bit of a philanderer and his father and so forth. So they get used to that vibe, they're comfortable and they seek. So that's what a medical intuitive does. They look at the health of the body and how to fix that, as well as looking at what made it unhealthy or why it was weak in that area.
It sounds to me like you can go really deep with that too. When we
Yeah.
talk about our
Mm.
past histories and our father's father, mother's
Mm.
mother, et
Mm.
cetera, really going deep into the biological aspects
Yeah.
of the human makeup.
Mm.
And I wanted to just read an excerpt out of your book
Yeah.
because I think that this um, it just pinpoints so much.
Mhm.
So it says, over my many years of working as a medical intuitive, the one thing that has stood out for me in session with people above all else is that those who are the most unwell are those who are the most unhappy within themselves. They have discontent in their hearts.
Mm.
The people who feel trapped, useless, unloved, angry, bitter, or frustrated are far more likely to have a serious illness as a result of those feelings.
Yeah.
People who felt they were living a life of duty or service, not because they wanted to, but because they felt they had no choice, were also likely to be ill as a result of the burdens of care. Even people who were happy but harbored a secret desire to do more, be more, have more, were at risk of becoming ill. A person who is truly content with who they are and what they have is unlikely to become ill. If you are living for someone else, you are dying for yourself. And I just loved that because to me, that was
Mm.
it just puts it all in a nutshell and you explain it so beautifully.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. You
Yeah.
are. And sadly, you are. If you're following somebody else's desire for you in any area of life, you are dying for yourself. You are killing yourself every moment.
Yeah. So, tell me a little bit about how you came on this journey, or maybe you would like to share with others. I know that within your book you share about it, but share with the
Mm.
audience your first event, with your first death
Um,
experience. It was a very, very young age. Can you talk about that?
yeah, of course. I was 4 years of age, and by that stage, I had already made up my mind that I was going to be a medical doctor. My godfather, Jerry, was a medical doctor, and he adored me, and he would come down and play with me and all this sort of stuff. And I thought, I'm going to be a medical doctor. And then one night, I found myself walking down the hallway, and we lived in the country of my parents' house. And it's a bit hazy as to how I got there. And I thought, oh, I'm up. That's odd. I'm cold. And I might go clean my mother's sewing room because my mother was not a very neat person due to her family history. So I went into her sewing room, and I'm wearing this long nightgown where I normally wore pajamas because I'd recently had a hernia operation. So they thought I had to wear nightgowns. Anyway, turned on the heater, leant over to clean up her sewing table, and unbeknownst to me, my nightgown swang into the radiator heater, caught fire, and I was so engrossed that I didn't actually notice until it had burnt all my lower legs and was up to my knees, and the flames were licking at my face, which is what drew my attention to it. So I just screamed and ran, which of course fanned the flames, and then I passed out in the hallway. And whilst I was there in the hallway, my father woke up, saw a light flickering, thought, oh, well, we left a light on, then realised it was flickering and thought, something's wrong, ran, got up and ran and found me on the floor and started to beat out the flames. And in that sort of intermission or interval, I actually died and had a near-death experience. And of course, I didn't know about CPR or anything like that. And my father was like shaking me and pounding the flames and shaking me, and that, I suppose, somehow revived me. So back I came. So there, I often get a little match and run along, go, look who's this? It's mummy.
I know that you've told this story probably countless times, Carmel.
Mm,
Is it difficult for you to share these death experiences? You've had 4.
mm. Yeah, 4 very, the second one was not so dramatic other than information I was given, and the third and fourth were heartbreaking, really heartbreaking. Um, it's not difficult. It used to be. Like, whenever anybody asked me about it, I would invariably start to cry. The trauma was so close. It was really hard. And my mother still gets quite distressed when she talks about it. If she does, she very definitely will not talk about it unless she has to. And she can't stand the smell of, like, burning lamb. She dry retches because she says that's what I smelled like.
Mhm. I can imagine as a parent, those
Yeah,
are very
poor
difficult.
mum. Yeah, she
Yeah,
got the worst of it, I think. Yeah, she
yeah.
got the worst of it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
as parents.
yeah.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that. I'm gonna go ahead and go into a commercial, and when we get back, I'll ask you some more questions. I'd love to hear
Okay,
what it was like on
no problem.
on
That's
the
fine.
other side.
Yeah, see you in a
Of the
moment.
Kim Jacobs Show, and you all know who's right here with me, Dr.
I
Les
mean,
Brown. How are you, Dr. Brown?
now.
I'm blessed and highly favored. Ladies and
All right.
gentlemen, this is the time you want to give yourself a competitive edge. If you got a message, you have some knowledge or experience, a story, or if you want to do something adventurous and exciting with your life that can increase your credibility, expose you to millions of people, I'm encouraging you to have your own talk show. I used to have a talk show. That one talk show catapulted me to another level. Now there are more people watching the internet, as you are aware, than television.
Yes.
Come on, somebody.
That's
And
right.
Dr. Kim Jacobs, she trained people on how to have their own talk show. She will train you how to do that. And now, with me working, partnering with her, now you have the combination of an audience, expansive audience. We have over 4 million people in all of our platforms, and the coaching you need to grow your business, to grow your multi-level marketing organization, to draw more attention to yourself in this noisy economy. Go ahead, Kim.
So, in the training that I do, Les, I actually do a 6-week training. It's 1 hour per week. And each week, I meet with the individuals one on one. We go through and we talk about all of the things that's necessary for a show to become a reality. We go from how to actually identify your focus area, what's going to be your ideal customer that's going to be tuning in. We'll talk about how to get guests, how to get sponsorship, how to go about getting your lighting, your branding, and your banners, and everything that you need to know. And guess what, Les? They
What?
own their own content at the end of the day.
And that's exciting. Now, if you're ready to create a shift in your business and in your life and increase your cash flow, I want you to go to KimJacobsConsulting.com. It's right there on the screen. KimJacobsConsulting.com. You know, people say opportunity knocks on every door.
Right.
No, opportunity stands by silently waiting for you to recognize it. So I want you to recognize that this is a time for you. This is an incredible time to have your own talk show. It establishes a level of credibility.
Yes.
And by being exposed to people on a regular basis, it allows you to strategically begin to impact and attract your audience. She can take you in a place in yourself that you can't go by yourself. So go to KimJacobsConsulting.com. That's KimJacobsConsulting.com. Did I say KimJacobsConsulting.com? Yes, you did. Very good. Make sure you go there and sign up for the coaching, and we're looking forward to working with you. You have something special. You have greatness within you. That's my story, and that's Kim's story, and we're sticking to it. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
All right. So if anyone of you are looking to work with somebody, Kim Jacobs is amazing. And I have it on the link below. Go to kimjacobsconsulting.com and she'll take great care of you. I highly recommend her. Let her know that I am bringing you to her. All right. So going back to beautiful Miss Carmel. Carmel, so I really want to jump into not just what it was like on the other side, but what I heard you explain in your book. What I'm most interested about is the feeling. So not only did you go to the other side, see the light, as many people say, but you felt this energy and like this force of energy, like electric currents running through your body. And then when you came back, you really wanted to tap into that and you kept trying to bring about that feeling and energy. And you through that, you realized that there was a healing essence in that.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. That was the Metatronic energy, which is actually a very different frequency to any other healing energy that I have felt, which is not to say necessarily that it's better than or less than anything. It's just different. And people of my bloodline apparently really can pretty much only use that energy. We don't resonate well with other energies. Like my mother learned Reiki, and the teacher said to her that they'd never experienced somebody who couldn't pick this up. It just was an antithesis to her. So yeah, that is what healed me. Was this energy, and when I revived, I could feel it when I called it, and I found it fairly easy to call. It would go through my body, and I could feel it fixing things, because you can imagine with burning and a fire and all that kind of stuff, there was a lot of damage to various organs in my body. Yeah. So.
Okay, so that's very fascinating to me. You're saying that there's different kinds of energy. This is new to me, maybe not new to a lot of people, but I think this is the first time I've heard that. Can you explain that a little bit?
Well, there are different frequencies, and we know that people who are scientific in nature or in the healing field are aware that there are different frequencies, which is why you have the singing bowls, the crystal bowls that are different frequencies and so forth. And some energies are really good at energizing the body and giving a really good, effective ground level healing, but the healing doesn't tend to hold. Which is why, for instance, you might go see a pranic healer or a Reiki healer and they will do their stuff, and God bless them, but you'll be back to get more because it hasn't held. That's not the frequency it is. And the higher up in the frequency you go, it is actually a little harder to use and a little harder to heal with, and people won't feel it as, like right there as they may with the Reiki. They have to be a little bit more sensitive, but the difference like loads up, so you'll find like 3 weeks later the problem that you had been slowly dissipating till it's gone, and it tends not to come back. I'll tell you a quick story. I had a discussion with a lady actually yesterday, and on Zoom or something like that, and she was talking, and she said to me at the end of our discussion, she said, "I don't know if you remember me." And I thought, no, I don't. I actually see a lot of people, so no, I don't. And she said, "Well, look, I came to see you in 2020 because I was having a lot of problems with my digestive system and nobody could help me." She said, "I saw you and I haven't had problems since." And
Wow.
that is the kind of result. And when she was there, I don't know if she really thought if I was doing anything or whatever. I'm sort of like standing around her, just shifting patterns and moving things out, and told her how to handle it afterwards. But she has no more digestive problems. So she is very, very happy.
Wow. I know, and you shared a couple of testimonies with me, and I wasn't able to do it. I could share the screen, but I will just say, from me hearing those testimonies, how people really are so changed, like their entire lives, and
Yeah.
it's like giving them a whole new beginning. And so
Mm.
that's such a beautiful thing, through your healing. And I love that you began a new a school, and so I want to
Yeah.
talk about that for a little bit. But I
Yeah.
want to also kind of go into your history first and see how you really came about into the light of this profession. I know that it wasn't an
Mm.
easy journey for you,
No.
especially, when it's not accepted by the traditional modern medicine.
Mm.
And I know that there's been a lot of challenges with that. Would you like to talk about, maybe one challenge that you will never forget that you dealt with during that time when you're being accepted into a medical community?
Um, oh gosh, that's a big ask. Well, I remember that, I'm accepted by a lot of doctors, and I am part of the Integrative Medical Association, and I'm the only non-medically trained person who is a part of that. And I was invited to go in, and then it had to be voted on and all that sort of stuff, and that was very difficult. I never actually expected to get into that. I never expected to get that far. And my journey with the medical profession started quite unbeknownst to me, in fact. Like one day, and it would be, oh, hang on, how old? 25 years ago, probably 26 years ago. A lady made an appointment to see me. She came in to see me, and I did a session on her. And she was so amazed that she said, I'm going to send my partner to see you. So she did. And I picked up all this stuff on him and fixed him. He really did need physical, grunty healing. So I did what I could, sent him back to his partner, and turned out that I actually did save his life, basically. And then this same woman contacted me, and she said, I'm sorry, I didn't tell you because I didn't want you to, make assumptions, whatever. She said, but I'm actually a doctor, and I'm so amazed with what you did that I want to be able to send clients to you. And I said, yeah, that's fine. I'll write reports when they come, if they come from you, so that you've got what I see, not just what they remember. So, we did that. And doctor after doctor and their clients started to see me. And, some of them would let me know that they're a doctor, and others would not tell me. And, it makes no difference other than, obviously there's a bit of an anxiety-based level when you think, oh my God, this is doctor. I hope I remember my anatomy. Which, is probably the biggest fear. I go, oh, where's the gallbladder again? Oh no, is it called a nose in the middle of the face? I don't know. I can't remember. So it's much easier. Obviously I'm not medically trained, and it's a bit hard to, on an ordinary human level, to come up against these people, and they'll go, oh, that's not, a foot. I'm telling you, that's a bunion. I'm thinking, and I've been arrogant enough, I guess, to say to people, whoever they are, whatever profession they are, and they'll go, you're wrong. And I go, no, I'm not wrong. You're wrong. And kudos to me. I have had a lot of apologies.
Yeah. Yeah. And, I
Yeah.
guess that by word of mouth, that really gives you more acceptance. And it sounds to me like
Yeah.
it was maybe an easier transition than I maybe expected.
Yeah.
You know, if doctors were asking you of your
Mm.
services for their
Yeah.
patients, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
I got so busy at one stage that the only way I could think of working it out was saying that if you want to come see me, you actually have to be referred by your doctor. So
Mm.
people would have to go to their doctor and say, I want to see this person, Carmel Bell, medical intuitive. She wants a referral. And the doctor would go, oh, I guess they'd probably go, well, odd. But they would write the referral. And these people would come along with their referral and I'd have a look at it and I'd go, oh, they want me to look at your, hairy tongue. No worries. And then I would do whatever. But I actually did that because it meant that people actually had to think about coming to see me. I'm not a sideshow, and so many people in this field, like, the amount of people that will come in and see me, it's a medical problem, then they get to the end of it and go, oh, what can you tell me about my love life? I'm single and, and I go to them, I don't give a damn about your love life. Seriously. I'm not telling you. Like, not even looking at it. Who cares? If it was part of their illness, sure. But, like, that's one of the hardest things with medical intuition is actually getting people to recognize that as intuitive, as clairvoyant as we are, or should be, our interests are not the mundane, as it
Mm.
were. It's not what I see as mundane. It's far more critical to your life and to your health. Like, what's the point of having a partner if you're developing, like stomach cancer or whatever? It's pretty pointless, isn't it?
Yeah. It sounds
Mm,
like you're very, very straight to the point,
yeah.
very authentic. Now,
Mm,
when you knew, and it sounds to me like you developed this gift at an early age, did you want it? What was
mm,
there a point when you decided to accept it? I mean, obviously you did, but you
yeah.
know,
There was a point when I decided to accept it, but it was a journey. I honestly kept resisting. So, just I'll try to be brief. First of all, as you know, I died at 4, and then my life went along, and it was kind of like trauma after trauma after trauma after trauma, and I was ostracized. I was regularly beaten up at school because I was weird, and and I would look at things from a different thing. A lot of the kids would torment animals, and I would try to stop them, and then I think at 15 years of age, so I just turned 15 and, still quite determined to be a doctor. So I was, studying in my like preferences and so forth to that end. And then just turned 15, along came Christmas. I'm one of 6 children. And, in Christmas morning, my family we'd all gather around the Christmas tree and Dad would hand out the presents one by one. And anyway, so he handed out all the presents. There was nothing left under the tree, and I had got nothing. There was nothing in front of me. And I think I was in a bit of shock, and I just went, wow, nothing. And so I got up, walked out of the room, went into my bedroom, and started to pack a bag to go. When both of my parents came running out and grabbed me, and Mum went, oh, Carmel, I'm so sorry. And Dad said, we've just realised that your mother forgot to get you any presents. So look, here's, I think it was $20, maybe $50. Here's some cash. And when the shop's open, your mum will take you shopping and buy you a present. So I put the money in my jeans pocket and I thought to myself, there's no room for me here. So I finished packing my bag. I walked out the front door and I did not see my parents again for nearly 3 years.
wow, that's
Mm.
a very powerful story.
But I had to leave
Um,
school, you see.
yes.
Who was going to pay? I was at a private school. Who was going to pay my fees? Not me.
Wow. And what did you do?
Well, I actually went over to my I had a boyfriend, we'd been dating for about, I don't know, 12 months. And we were teenage in love, whatever. And I walked the few kilometres to his house with my one bag of belongings, and I knocked on his door and I told him what happened. And I said, is there any chance I could live here with you? So he asked his parents and they said, yes, of course you can. They were quite fond of me. So I moved into his little one-room bungalow with him, and we lived in a single bed together, and I got a job working for Woolworths, I think, and then pharmacies and all that sort of stuff. And then we were very, very happy. And then I went to Perth for a little while. My grandparents found me and asked me to go live with them. And they had actually wanted to adopt me after I burned, and my dad wouldn't let them because they actually thought that my mum was deliberately trying to kill me, which she wasn't. We're very close. She wasn't. And I'd said no. Anyway, they came over, they found me, and they said, we want you to think about this. So can we, get you to move out for a while? So I did. And then it was arranged for me to go to Perth. So I went to Perth for a few months, and then I came back to Melbourne and I resumed my relationship with my boyfriend. And then we started a motorcycle gang together. And because, we thought it was a joke, so I was the president of this gang, and I ended up being called Boots, and boots and all. I was always in boots and all.
Oh,
I still wear pretty much nothing but boots today. Got a huge collection of shoes that I never wear. I just love them. They're objet d'art, d'art. Beautiful. Love looking at them and walking down my display. But I wear boots.
I like boots too. I understand that. I'm a boots girl too.
Yeah,
Well, wonderful. When we come back, I'm going to share some photos that you gave, and we're going to talk a little bit about your beautiful family that you've created and what your journey is like to have them in your life, and being a medical intuitive, and what effect that has had for you and your family. So stay tuned. Okay, so I'm going to take us on a journey through this photo album of Carmel's, and you can just tell us what this photo is like, the time period, etc.
Oh, well, that's actually my daughter, Rosalind, and she's 25 at that, and she decided, I have this most amazing wardrobe that, you would love. I've been collecting vintage clothes and making clothes, and, I have so many beautiful, beautiful jackets and pants and dresses and hats and gloves and all this sort of stuff. And Rosalind one day just appeared out of my wardrobe, as she sometimes does, dressed up like this. And I thought, oh man, this kid is so beautiful. And I just took a photo. So that's my glorious daughter, Rosalind, my only daughter.
That is a gorgeous photo. And, Carmel, I thought this was of you.
No, in fact, it's very similar. I could show you. I used to model years ago, like when I was about 21, 22. I did quite a bit of modeling. And then, it was a very creepy industry when I was in it. And that is so similar to a photo I have of me that was professionally taken. She's a natural. And you know what? She does not give a rat's how she looks. She doesn't bank on her looks at all, which is so beautiful.
She is.
Yeah. Oh, like this is me when I was about, I would be 29, 30. And I'd actually been, I was an Olympic class gymnast when I was a child, which of course that career, I was training for the Olympics, and that career ended when I left home, and also injured my leg, managed to cut out a tendon in my leg, which stopped me from performing at my top ability. So I went from that into bodybuilding. I thought, what can I do? So I began to bodybuild because my metabolism is fast, so fast that it's very difficult for me to put on weight. So I have to like eat a lot of certain types of food and train to get muscle and strength on me. And anyway, I couldn't get to the gym as often as I liked, so I set up a home gym for myself. And so this is a photo of me, and I can tell you I was so annoyed when that photo was taken. My husband, man who's my husband now, actually took it. He came home to find me like working, and thank God he didn't take it when I was actually like forward, because you would have seen like you know
Yeah.
on my face. And he took it, and it was like, oh, for Christ's sake, what are you going to do? Take this photo. I'm so glad he took it now, though.
How about this photo?
Well, that is me at about, I would have been probably 42, 43. And that was actually taken after I had been diagnosed with a brain tumor that actually created a terminal disease in me. And I decided, that my hair was naturally black, but because I'm of Celtic descent, it started to go grey young, which they do, and this is like natural.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, and so I went to my hairdresser and I said, just take the lot, just leave me the grey. So he did, and that was taken not long after he did that. And that was me in the early stages of a disease called Cushing's. There's lots of Cushing's syndrome, but very, very few people with disease, which is quite different. And I think I was off to teach a class. Anyway, so I'm about probably 42, maybe a bit older.
Okay. And now remind me, is this prior to the second death experience or after?
No, it's post. The second, yes, James? Yeah, you can go out. My son's just going to travel through. One of my sons is just going to travel through. And so you can see that back. This is the one who's like 2 meters tall. So all you can see is his back. No, I had a second death experience when I was 18. I miscarried a baby, and my GYOBN decided I needed an operation to make sure there was nothing left. And during that operation, I died. So they actually didn't do all that they intended to do, but they, revived me and brought me back and then popped me in hospital for the night. And he, came to see me and said, "Oh, we had a bit of a problem. You died." And I said, "I know," because I had another near-death experience where I was told that I had married the wrong Bernie.
Mm.
I had to leave.
Yes, you have a very interesting
Mhm.
experience with that too, because the first death they told you on the other side, they said, you're going to have a partner in this life. His name is Bernie.
Bernie.
And you met a Bernie and
Mm.
you thought that was your
Him.
partner.
Yeah.
And it ended up not being.
No. And, look, we really did have a lovely relationship. We would be, if we still married, we would have been married, I don't know, 40, 42, 43 years, I think now. And we're still very close, like we wish each other happy birthday. We sometimes meet for coffee. He, helps me out with various things, ditto for him. And his children and my children, in fact, a couple of them attended school together, and they used to delight saying to people that they're brother and sister, even though they don't share anything genetic, and they'd say, "Oh, how does that work?" And go, "Well, my mother used to be married to her father, and they have together a son." So, Harley, who used to say to me when he was young, "I really want a sibling," ended up being one of six.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
And who is this?
This is B2, Bernie 2. This is my second
Bernie
Bernie.
too.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I
Here he
know.
is.
They call themselves B1 and B2, and so I laugh and say I'm married. I've been married to the Bananas in Pajamas. If you know that those shows, B1 and B2. So that is B2, and it's only a couple of years old. That photo. We were at his works Christmas function where we were bowling, like lawn bowling. Oh my God, what a task that is! I don't know how all these old people can lawn bowl so successfully, because like I would be aiming for there and I'd end up over there. It's just crazy.
Well, he looks very happy, like just a jolly, merry
He
soul.
is. He is. He is. That's because he rides a motorbike every day.
Brings him great joy. So
It
how
does.
common is the name Bernie? Was that like something really out of
Very uncommon.
okay.
Very, very uncommon. I have actually physically met 4 Bernies in my life. 2 I married. One was my best friend's father, and the other was a priest.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's it. That's all the Bernies I've met.
That's amazing.
Mm.
And
Oh,
this
that's
is the 2 of you.
yeah. That's me and Bernie and I, and I think that might have been at one of my birthday functions, and somebody said, "Let's get a photo of you two," and I thought, "Oh, all right," and yeah,
I love it. You guys look very close.
yeah,
And from what I
yeah,
understand, was it true when they told you this is going to be your life partner, your
yeah,
companion, your aid,
mm,
your help, in this life? Has
yes,
that rang true?
yes, it has, it
Okay.
has. There've been a few tussles along the way, you know, like, and I'm a really good one for jumping up and down and yelling when I'm truly frustrated. And Bernie just is the silent type. He plays snail, and so we've had a lot of silent arguments, or loud from mine. And that's James, who you just saw the back walking out. He said he's 2 meters tall, like size I think 16 or 17 shoes. And
Wow.
he's just like he's huge and so gentle. Like this guy is so gentle. He's
A
amazing.
gentle
Like,
giant.
yeah, I've always said to him, God, James, with your body, you really ought to get into bodybuilding. Please do. And he goes, no, no. Oh, this is my eldest son. This is Harley. And he's actually a aerospace engineer. And
Wow.
yeah, I love his moustache. And he actually does twirl his moustache. Like he goes, oh,
That is a good look.
yeah,
That is
yeah.
a very good look.
It is snidely whiplash. He's very snidely whiplash. But yeah. And this is Jean-Luc.
I
And
love that name, by the way. When I was reading the
yeah,
names of your children, they're all beautifully unique, but Jean-Luc is
Jean-Luc.
great. How did you come up with that name?
Well, Jean-Luc was born 14 weeks premature. And totally unexpected. There was no reason that we could find that it would happen. But my waters broke, and I went to hospital, and they put me in there and put me on a drip to try and stop him being born. But nothing was going to stop him. So there'd been like no preparation. Basically, they gave me, I think, 2 shots, massive shots of cortisone to get his lungs developed, because it works very rapidly and all this sort of stuff. And they said to me when I'm in labour, they said, your baby is unlikely to live,
Mhm.
so you need to be ready. And I thought, well, I'm going to, see about that. Anyway, he ended up being born, was straight to, intensive care and all this sort of stuff. And I looked at him and I thought to myself, what name can I give him that will carry him to the stars if he does not live? And He was born on St. Patrick's Day. I am a Star Trek fan. I just adore Patrick Stewart as Captain Picard. And his name is Jean-Luc. And I thought, well, there you go. That's perfect. So we called him Jean-Luc, and then middle name of Fox, which actually suits him really well. And anyway, a friend of ours was working at NASA at that stage, and he heard that Jean-Luc had been born, blah, blah, blah. So Patrick Stewart got a photo of himself dressed up as Jean-Luc Picard, signed it for our Jean-Luc, and Harold sent it to us. Here you go. And he lived, obviously.
Yeah. That's a wonderful story. And this is all of them together.
Yes, it is.
So
Yes,
this
it
is
is.
all of the beautiful children. You have 4.
For
And so I'm curious, a couple questions.
Mm.
Has this gift run internally through the family? I think you were talking a little bit about that with your mother. Have your children experienced this gift?
Yes.
And okay.
Yes.
So they practice and they
No, they do not. I discourage them. I discourage them.
I would love to hear more about that.
This is the toughest job you will ever, ever, ever learn. Just try and be brief. For instance, publishing representatives, whatever, don't want to know me because of my profession. Lots of things. Teachers, doctors, I'm always being challenged by doctors. I mean, literally, I've had doctors look me in the face and tell me that I'm lying, I'm a charlatan, and how dare I give people false hope, even though I am scientifically and medically tested and verified. They find it very, very challenging. My kids, these two in the middle, I had to move their schools because children weren't allowed to play with them, because one of the mothers at this school had been a client of mine, and she told people what I did, and they decided that I was weird and freaky and no one should talk to me and their children shouldn't play with my children. So the bullying and ostracization became so intense that I actually did have a breakdown due to it. And I moved my kids out of the school into other schools to save them. It was getting very heartbreaking for them.
Those are definitely the challenges I was curious about. And I feel I would like, as much as I would love to say that the world is changing and we're evolving and we're past that point, that we're not quite there yet.
Oh no, we're actually a long way off it. And I know, there is progress and there is more acceptance than there was, but we really are a long way off it. And even, last night on Facebook, I think, or the night before, I was reading a post by a friend of mine who's like in the healing world, and was, and like he put up and said that anybody who charges for their healing services will have their gifts taken away from them, that we're not allowed to charge, that nobody should charge. And I thought, that's really unfair, because every talent is a gift. Every talent comes from God or source, whatever you want to call it, and, everything. And why does no one field have the right to actually eat and to comfortably know where their next meal is coming from? Money is the energy exchange that this world unfortunately runs on. And why would an energetic or spiritual healer, although, I don't call myself a healer, I'm a medical intuitive, why don't they have a right to eat? Why should my children not have clothes and education and food?
Right. I agree with you.
Yeah. So, that's been a challenge, and it remains a challenge, and it's very, very rare for anybody to quibble with me to say, like, I can't afford it to pay you. Very, very rare. Oh, this is this is actually the fireman who saved my life after I died. So, by the time they got there, I'd been dead for quite some time. These guys worked on me for 47 minutes.
That's amazing.
47 minutes giving me CPR, which I got to tell you is the most excruciating thing to recover from. In fact, lots of people die from the results of CPR.
Yeah.
Their bodies cannot recover. It is agony you have never experienced. And giving me adrenaline shots and oxygen and whatever for 47 minutes. And they were just about to call it. They'd gone on for that long because my husband used to be an ambulance officer himself. And so, he was known in the industry. Otherwise, they would have stopped, 25 minutes prior. But they went on and on and on because, he was a buddy. And I re-entered my body and came back.
That's fascinating. It's I agree. It's very rare for the medical community to go on that long.
Yeah, it is.
And I'm very aware of how hard it is on a body and that people do die during that process. So it is a miracle in and of itself that you survived all of that. And so, this is the big long death. And can you tell just briefly what your experience was at that time?
You mean whilst I was dead?
Yes.
Right. Well, I found myself up in, the space that people call heaven again, and I was talking to the Archangel Metatron, who I have spoken to before, and to Jesus, the person who calls him, the people call Jesus. I call him Jesus, and a couple of my guides. And, they talked to me and asked basically like how I was going and how I was coping. And I told them, I shared with them the griefs and the difficulties that I had gone through and how tormenting this profession was. And, they explained that they had asked me to do this, which I was aware, of, and how they were aware of how difficult it was, and it's not an easy task to carry. And then they told me that if I wished to, I could remain in heaven. I could stay physically dead if I wished to. And then I thought about it, and I thought about Bernie trying to raise and support, like I was the main income earner, and support our 4 children by himself, and how he would probably lose everything, like lose the house, lose income, blah blah blah, and how lonely he would be without me. And so I chose to come back. I do believe that they actually wanted me to come back, but that it was, they gave me the appearance of choice.
Wow. And so this photograph is more recent.
Yes, it is. It's a couple of years old.
I love the purple. This is definitely one of my favorite photos of you. I use this one to highlight the just to advertise the show and you being here as a guest. And so and I also want to go into I'd like to ask you this question. It doesn't sound to me like you're done. Like, do you feel what is next? I'm wondering what's next for you.
Oh, I don't know. I really don't know. At the moment, I confess I'm just treading water. I don't see as many clients by weight. I see a tenth. Like pre-death, I was seeing, as I think I said earlier, 30 people a week. And that's a tremendous amount. And I still had a huge waiting list. Like this wasn't dragging through the atmosphere looking for clients, This was hard work, and I really do not want to work that hard anymore. I physically I can't. Physically I really cannot. It will kill me very quickly if I try to, because it is a real it is a burden on the body, no matter how careful you are. The body has to be able to match that level of energy.
Hmm.
And
That makes sense.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I've considered, like, in the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 years, I have actually looked at changing professions. I did start a tattoo course, and then realised that,
Great.
I know, isn't that crazy? And because I don't mind tattoos, and I think you can do some beautiful art. So anyway, I applied, was accepted, enrolled, and then I started reading and whatever. And do you know how much study there is involved in learning to actually tattoo? It's mind-boggling. I thought, oh yeah, give me the gun, I'll draw a picture. No worries. No worries. It is so intricate. So, and since I did that, the crazy thing is, because I've always said to my kids, tattoos are an identifying mark. So if you ever have any criminal aspirations, do not get a tattoo, right?
I've tried telling my daughter that.
Yeah, yeah. But, 2 of my children now have tattoos, lots of tattoos. I mean, full sleeve, like full sleeve. And I can't complain because I know that he has no criminal aspirations. And I was the first one in the family to get a tattoo after I died. Insane. I just wandered into this tattoo studio literally and said, "Can you tattoo me, please?"
Well, tell me, what is it? I would love to know.
What it actually says is it's on my left ankle, and it says "Curiouser and Curiouser."
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes,
And on
Alice in
my
Wonderland. That's
yeah,
wonderful. That's definitely
um,
going down the rabbit hole, and,
absolutely.
um, I
Yep.
love so much all of the things that you've shared today, and, I know that I would love to keep going further and further. It's,
Mm,
it makes a lot of sense, but obviously I don't I'm sure we all have the gift within us, and I know that's
yeah.
why you created the school, and
Mhm.
you work on teaching people that they have this gift within themselves in
Mm,
order to go out and share that gift with the world.
yeah.
Um, and so, but really coming to this eye-opening concept, because I don't think about it because I don't practice it, but that it
Mm,
really takes so much energy from you because,
mm,
you're working it.
mm.
And, um, also curious, what's the future look like for your school?
Well, I closed it down for a long time, and over the last 2 or 3 years, I have actually tried to reopen it, but COVID has got in the way. And but I do intend, my intention is there to reopen it sometime this year, hopefully in the next couple of months. But um, it'll be more online. It used to be in person. I still prefer to teach it in person. I've not tried to teach it remotely yet, but we will try this year. And I don't know if I will do more than just 1 year. I will teach and do 1 year because again, it's a lot of work for me to teach it. And I get in guest lecturers, usually I have a doctor or two come in and talk, and dentists and physios, and because people don't realize exactly how critical teeth are. Like,
Mhm.
you can end up with the most severe headache you possibly can get, trigeminal neuralgia, through misalignment of your jaw, you know?
Yes.
And they actually call that headache the suicide headache,
Oh, well,
because
yeah,
like
'cause
yeah,
you
yeah.
don't wanna stick around for it.
Well, I actually did get that headache. I got that headache, and I suffered with it for about a year and a half, living on the strongest painkillers I could find, and doctors saying, "No reason." I'm going, "I know this is curable. I know it's something wrong up here." And I'm trying to look, and I had to sort of stop working for the most part. And then I went and visited a dentist that I'd been friends with since I was about 25, and he had become my children's dentist. And I was picking up my daughter, and I said, "Oh," he said, "How are you?" And I said, "Paul, I've got this thing." He said, you know, all right, look at me. And he did just like literally spent 20 seconds and went whack, whack, whack. And he said, all right, he said, Carmel, book in for a half hour an appointment. And I tell you, diagnosis will become misdiagnosis. So I did, and it did. And I've never had another headache since.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't had another headache, let alone a trigeminal neuralgia. And I am aware that I get these conditions because I have to learn about them, and things. My history, my full history, reads like a Shakespearean tragedy. Really, the events that have happened to me, the things, the tragedies that have happened to me, and the illnesses that myself or my children have developed and I've had to fix, you know.
So you gained the knowledge of,
Yeah.
because you were supposed to have those experiences.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah.
Like the one that you saw, my son that you saw leave, when he was born dead. They revived him, and then I was told that he had cerebral palsy, right?
Mm.
Okay. He's 6'7". No palsy. He's fine. He's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, and then he developed idiopathic thrombocytopenia purpura, and they wanted to take out his spleen. And I said, no, all gone, fixed.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
so,
amazing. And, you know, it's so interesting. The chosen few, or many, that have to, you know, go through these challenges in order to learn and grow from them.
Yeah.
And to show up differently.
Yeah,
So
it is. People think that we're lucky. Now, look, you know, there's got to come a time where somebody with my kind of talent does not have to suffer. Really, you know. I mean, there's always going to be suffering. There's suffering in everybody's life. I mean, the people that I've met in my life who have had the easiest kind of lives and nothing, you know, they were blah, blah, blah. I've got to tell you, they are the most boring people you could ever possibly hope to meet. They're, you know, you know, you get trapped with them, and it really is trapped in a party or a pub or whatever. And it's like, so what do you do? Oh, nothing. I just, you know, whatever.
but they're
Nothing.
not really living.
No, they're not living. It without challenge, you don't grow.
Yes. I agree with you there. That is 100% true.
Yeah.
And so I know that you're going to do the schooling online potentially. And that was a other curiosity of mine, was being able to teach something like this. And when you're working with the energies, is it just you describing, or like, are you able to, you know, to
Same as
tell from our video that, you
Mm.
know, hey, April, you could work on this, or I see this, you know, are you able to do that from far away energetically?
Yes. Yep. In fact, pre all this video stuff, I used to just do it over the phone.
Wow.
I didn't even know what these people looked like. You know, I had to go over and visit them and go, well, I see that you're wearing this. Oh, and they go, oh, yeah. Yep. I go, good, I found you.
That's amazing. Well, Carmel, this has been such a wonderful time. Thank you so much for sharing yourself and your life. I absolutely have left the link to your book in the description.
Yep.
And so I strongly encourage people to read it. It just grasps you and locks you in. The stories are fascinating. Your journey has been fascinating. And you know, the fact that you're just able to shine your light in the world now is the beautiful thing. And so I want to personally thank you for doing that and being that and sharing your journey with us here today.
Thank you. Thank you. They're so lovely of you.
Thank you.
Know, it makes me feel, you know, it's pretty rare for people to actually give me compliments. I'm a bit of an oddity.
Well, you
So
can come here and get compliments all day long, anytime.
okay.
Compliments are there.
Yeah,
Is there
yeah, particularly
anything
on my
else?
silver hair. I love people complimenting my silver
Well,
hair. You know, I grew it myself, and it took such an effort, like years.
well, yeah. I mean, you cut it pretty short too.
Yeah,
And
that's
and
it.
I love the color of it too.
Yeah, thank
I
you.
don't know if I'll ever get that. My mother hasn't seemed to gray, so I don't know if I'll get there. I'll probably just go all white,
Lovely,
eventually.
lovely. I like white. It's still, it's
Yeah.
still actually dark somewhere, like underneath, I think. Anyway, but it's probably waiting for me to like have another traumatic experience just to finish off the job.
Oh, well, I think that you're pretty resilient, I would
Thank
say.
you.
I
Thank
would
you.
say
I am.
so.
I
Is
am.
there anything
Brain
else?
damage helps that resilience because, like you forget, you go, oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot that you did that. Yeah, thanks for reminding me.
I think that we do need to be reminded
Yeah, we do.
every now and again. I think that
Mm,
what that does is it shows how much we have done and how strong we have been,
yeah.
and that whatever challenges that we're facing now, we can sure get through it because we have been there, done that.
Yeah, we have. And we've got the sore feet to prove it.
We do. All right, Carmel. Well, is there anything else that you'd like to share?
No,
All
no,
right.
just thank you. Thank you, April.
My
Thank you for
pleasure.
taking it.
Anytime. And you can
Yeah,
always come back on
yes.
the Wellness
Oh,
Driven
okay.
Life Show.
All right. I'll
So I'm
just
going to
pop
have
in every now and then.
you can pop in and I'm going to have you stay right backstage and we're going to finish up the show. And
Yep.
thank you so much for our listeners. And thank you so much for the people who are going to be listening to this recording. Make sure you put some comments in and I'll get back to them in the future. And
Yep.
the way that the show runs is by donations. So if you would like to invest in the Wellness Driven Life Show once, weekly, monthly, or annually, just do that through Cash App, Venmo, or PayPal. Also through www.thewellnessdrivenlifeshow.com. There is a donation site where you get a beautiful email after you donate and you can save that for your records. So
Lovely.
thank you again so much for everybody who has joined and tuned in, and we will see you tomorrow.
Thank you. Bye.